Okay. For each column of the table, find the distance and the time. Write each fraction as a decimal. Put the distance in the numerator and the time in the denominator. So the distance is 3.5 and the time is 1. 3.5 divided by 1 is 3.5. Second column, distance was 7. Time was 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. Next column, 10.5 was the distance. The time was 3. 10.5 divided by 3, 3.5. 14 divided by 4, 3.5. 17.5 divided by 5, 3.5. What do you notice about the decimals of the fractions? They're all what? They're all what? They're all what? 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. They're all what? The same. If it is going to be a constant rate of change, they all have to stay the same. If it's not constant, if they didn't stay the same, it's not a constant rate of change. I can check it if they told me it's supposed to be constant. If they're telling me to use it to find out whether it's constant or not, I've got to compare them to see if they stayed the same. Questions on this first table that we filled in? Don't move it. That's a statement. I want you to go ahead and flip to page 124. Look at the top. Look at the top of page 124. I'm not going to put it up here on the board, but I want you to kind of think about what we just did. Suppose the tortoise travels for 12 seconds. Explain how you could find the distance that the tortoise is going to travel. 12 times 3.5. He's traveling 3.5 seconds, 3.5 inches per second. So all you'd have to do is multiply. Everybody see that? Okay. This is on that page, page 124. You don't have to write this. A rate of change is a rate that describes how one quantity changes in a relationship to another. A unit rate was a rate, right? What'd you say? It's 124. This is. Yeah, this is on 124 though. Okay? A rate of change is a rate that describes how one quantity changes in a relationship. We just got done talking about a specific rate. What type of rate did we talk about? No, a specific rate. Look at Monday and Tuesday. What did we do? Unit rates. That's what we talked about, right? That's a rate describing two different quantities. A proportional relationship between two quantities is in one in which the rate of change is what? Constant. Okay? If it's going to be constant, then the two fractional pieces have to be equal to each other. They have to be the same. So, we're going to take a look at this, and we're going to decide whether this has a constant speed. So, to find if it has a constant speed, we look at 65 over 1. I look at 120 over 2. I have to look at 195 over 3, 220 over 4, and 300 over 5. Well, 65 divided by 1 is obviously what? 65. 120 divided by 2 is what, though? 60. Is this constant? No. I don't even need to go any further because 65 is not equal to 60. Once I find two that are not the same, do I need to go any further? No. In order to show that it's constant, I have to go all the way to the end. But the minute that it's not constant, I can stop. I don't have to work any further. Everybody okay? Am I good now? Yes? Okay. Same page, don't change pages. I want you to, some way, highlight that. Y equals kx. Write it off to the side. Do something but make note of that equation. This is how you're going to write a proportional relationship. Y equals kx. The only thing that you need to write it is k. And there's the other equation. You find k by doing y divided by x. Write this one down where you can see it. Y divided by x. This is page 125. It's kind of there in the upper middle part of the page. It's there. The two equations. This one and this one. You need to know these two equations. Like memorize them. Commit them to memory. Now, if you would, flip to page 126. For a school field trip, there must be one adult to accompany 12 students, 3 adults to accompany 36 students, 5 adults to accompany 60 students. Show the relationship between the number of adults and the number of students is proportional relationship. Show that it's proportional. Then write an equation for the relationship. Two things. To show that it's proportional relationship, I'm going to take 1 and I'm going to divide it by 12. What is 1 divided by 12 in terms of decimal? 0.083 repeating. And I'm going to take 3 and divide it by 36. I know. There's a reason I'm doing it this way. Because it's 1 divided by 12, not 12 divided by 1. Three divided by 36. 3 divided by 36. 0.083. Repeating. 3 divided by 36. 3 over 36. What's the next one I'm going to write down? 5 over 60. When I divide it, it's going to be 0.083 repeating. It is what? Because this stayed constant. Okay? It stayed constant. The constant of proportionality is K. K we find by doing Y over X. This is X. This is Y. Y over X was 1 over 12. By the way, 3 over 36 would have reduced to what? 1 over 12. 5 over 60 would have reduced to what? 1 over 12. That's the reason they all came out to the same decimal, is they simplified to the same fraction. They said write an equation. When I'm writing an equation, I'm using this. And the only thing I have to replace is K, which I can find from the table. What was K equal to? 1 over 12. So the equation is Y equals 1 over 12 times X. Pretty good? I'm going to put another example up here. I'm just going to make it up so it's not in the book. Let's say that I'm talking about miles per hour. 60, 120, 2, 183. Okay? Can everybody see that it stayed constant? Right? 1 over 60, 2 over 120, 3 over 180. I'm going 60 miles per hour. K is always found by doing Y over X. X is always listed first in a table. Y is always listed second. They're in alphabetical order. Does that make sense to everybody? Just like when you're listing ordered pairs, they're in alphabetical order. X will be first, Y will be second. Y over X would be 1 over 60. That's what K is equal to. If I wanted to write an equation, the only thing I have to replace is what? What's the only thing I'm going to replace? K. Y stays there. X stays there. What do I replace K with? What did I replace K with? 1 over 60. These are that simple. If you know the two formulas, K equals Y over X, and you know the equation Y equals KX, and you know the only thing you're going to change is what value? K. It's going to have a Y, it's going to have an X in it. If you know that, these are that simple to write. In a table, X is always first, Y is always second. They're in alphabetical order.
So Y would would be like...
Y is 1 and X is what? 60. I could have used 2 and 120, but how many times will 2 go into 120? 60. I could have used 3 and 180.
So say it's like X is 2 and then Y is 3.
If X is 2 and Y is 3, K is 3 divided by 2, And the equation would be y equals 3/2 x. It's that simple. Okay, I don't get it's a statement, not a question. I don't know what you don't get. Yep.
With the table problems, how do you find it? Like, what's the answer?
They asked me to write an equation. I wrote the equation. Y equals 1/12 x.
So you have to do all of that just to get the equation. So you just find K?
Okay, not to just get it. Let's take a look at number 2 on page 126. Okay? Page 126, number 2. It says 2, 10, 4, 20, 6, 30, 8, 40. Find the constant of proportionality. It's asking me to find this. K equals y over x. This is x. This is y. They want me to do y over x. Y is 10. X is 2. How many times does 2 go into 10?
5.
So K is what value? 5. It said, then write the equation. What's the only thing I'm going to replace in the equation? What am I going to replace it with? 5.
So you only have to do the first one?
Because they told me it was proportional. I only had to do the first one.
So it would be K.
K is what?
K equals 5.
And the equation is y equals 5x. Maddie?
So when it doesn't tell you whether it's proportional or not, you have to do all of
I'll have to find them all. I'll have to do 20 divided by 10 divided by 2, which is 5. 20 divided by 4, which is 5. 30 divided by 6, which is, and 40 divided by 8, which is 5.
Is there any other homework that will be like that?
Mm-hmm. There's your assignment.
There's only 2.
It should have been 1/4, because it's y over x, not x over y. So it's 2 over 8. She did x over y instead of y over x. Hmm? Y over x.
Can you hand me one? Anne-Marie? No, I already finished. Can you hand me one?
What you get for that one? It says write the equation. Okay. This is x. You're using this table. This is x. I've got to find this to write the equation. So I'm going to do y. 550. 55. Divided by 5550 divided by 342. It's 18.5. That's K, right? K is 18.5. What's the only thing I'm going to replace in this? What am I going to replace? What am I going to replace? I'm going to replace K because I can find it. So, K is the constant of proportionality. This. So y equals 18.5. That's K. Times X. It's the only part I replace. And the reason you want to be able to write it is because out here, without completing the table, I could substitute 100 days in for that X, and I could make a prediction it's not in the table.
I said thank you. I was trying to hurry up and mail it.
How much did it cost per day? How much did it cost per day? 1850 in this one, right? In rental. But if it's an day one rental, you're going to do what? I don't know. I haven't read it. It's 1090 for each plus. That's it. So it's 10.99 divided by K. Yeah. It's a unit rate, that is. Which one's the better deal? 1850 or 2198? Come on, find it. That's what you're doing. Find it. What's K? 5550 divided by 3. That's going to give me K. Should be in your seats. Nobody's asked to move. So the equation is going to be y equals 18.5x. Then you take 1099 divided by what? Half a day. Or 0.5. It'll give you what it's going to be for a whole day. Where's yours? Already put away? Well, actually, this should be a y. Y equals K equals 18.5. And you replace K with that number. Here's the two equations. Y equals K x and K equals Y over x. You've got to do this one first because you use it with prime K. Replace this. And it's all you've got to do.
Always all up in your
Which is why they do it right after we do unit tests. You write the equation so you can make a prediction. It's not on the table. And I've seen kids with a table like this, and they ask for what it's like after the 15th day, and you know what they do? They write 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and fill in all the blanks. When it's way quicker to write the equation and then fill in 15 for that x and pop out your numbers. That's where we're headed with it. What are we going to work on more tomorrow? More the same, right?
What's the tomorrow? I'm gonna get my lock off.